A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not me,
Probably so.
but probably me too, a little bit, think Bible college is BS.
Okay.
So what do you got to say to that?
Well, okay. When you think of Bible college and you're saying that's BS, what do you mean by Bible college? Because we've covered a lot of different things here
What do
today.
I mean?
Yeah. What are you thinking about when you say Bible college is not cool?
Okay, it's either so localized and not accredited and unimportant and doesn't help you with real life at all,
Mhm.
and is not a track to, I guess this is all just one point. It's not a track to actually make any money in your life, so it's worthless, and you could learn all this stuff on your own. Just go to church; it's free. You know, all that.
Okay.
So there you go. Was that good?
I mean, that's fine. That's fair. I mean, I think it all depends on an individual and what they're wanting to do, right? Because if let's say they don't want to. Let's say they don't feel like called to ministry, okay, but they do want to grow deeper in the Word. And all right, let's say you're a young person, you're coming out of high school, and you want to go deeper in the Word. I just said it a minute ago, I got no problem with you taking a gap year and doing that. Okay. Like for me, I think that's awesome. Like, great. How often? I mean, because the reality is like right after high school or right after college, about the only two windows we have to just be able to take a year to do something like that, or 2 years. So, and I'll say this: a lot of the individuals that did it, like with us, they were at the church with us, doing the courses and those kind of things, and serving a few days a week. But then they did also have part-time jobs, and we also did teach like life skills. Like, so we did everything from budgeting to talking about investing to, I mean, like we wanted to actually, I mean, even things like, here, we're going to teach you how to change a tire. That sounds crazy, but we had a lot of people who didn't know how to change a tire. And so so we did try to teach like basic life skills along the way. Okay. And then just being with each other I think that's awesome. It's great. But I understand your point. If it's like, I'm just going to randomly take a year off, and do I really have to take a year off to go closer to Jesus and study the Bible, that kind of things? And I think the answer to the question is no, I don't have to. And I think there's really some incredible resources. And, one of the things we talk about, with our sponsor, with discipleship group, for example, individuals can go through that. And that's it's 3.5 years worth of studying. If you're doing it like every week, right? You're not missing a week.
I thought it was 3 years.
Well, it's 3 years. There's another book called Kingdom Living that can be added on to
Really?
it. Yeah. And, but it's actually, I said 3.5 years. That one's actually only 3 months. So, but I mean, none of us are really going through it all. I mean, every single week. And so getting done with
it's like you have to be a disciple your whole life.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. And so I think you asked actually the point there, right? Like, so if we're in a discipleship relationship with another person, hopefully with a group, then in that scenario, we're growing in Christ. There's an intentional, systematic way in which we're growing in our relationship with Jesus, and we're learning more of the Word. We're learning theology. We're learning doctrine, and we're in a church body and community, and therefore we're learning how to, take all of this and apply it to our daily lives. So I do think that is as legitimate as doing anything else, as going to and taking courses online through a university or those kind of things. Because it's about the goal. It's about what am I wanting to accomplish and go through this, all right? But I will say for individuals that feel called to ministry, individuals that feel called to be a pastor, that feel called to serve on staff at a church, I do think that individuals need to go and actually, go to a seminary and, pursue, and I'll say seminary, go to Bible college, get a bachelor's degree, it could be in theology. Colossians. Well, you wouldn't get one in just that. And so, but, get a biblical studies degree, get a theological studies degree. I think that would help so many individuals.
So you think
ministry.
That all pastors should have to go to a school?
Yes. I'm going to
Okay.
be, I'll say that. Of some form, of some kind.
Just any school.
Like, I think that they need to have
Bridgewater Elementary.
No, like, I'm glad they went to the elementary school, but more than that. Like, no, I do think that individuals need to have courses that are focused in, again, on biblical studies or theological studies. Because if you're charged with preaching the word, so this is probably, more for those along those lines. Like, if you're charged for preaching the word, teaching the word, you should be willing to take the time to go deeper into those studies. So, like, we have individuals in our church, and they're going through the discipleship group materials, and they're learning, they're growing, and they're learning a lot, and will continue to grow and learn a lot. But we also have individuals in our church that really feel called to go into some form of teaching or preaching ministry. And so for them, I want them to, go get an associate's degree even. It doesn't have to be a master's of divinity. It doesn't have to be that, but like, go get at least an associate's degree in biblical studies or theological studies, and really take the time to, develop and grow in your understanding of the context so that you can teach the word well. So I am, and then I would say as pastors, if you're a pastor in a church, yes, value education. Go get your master's of divinity degree.
Okay.
I would say that, or a master's in theological studies degree. Like, go do that. I'm a huge proponent of that. And I think for us coming out of like the charismatic church, almost nobody has diplomas and degrees. I think that's where we've gotten some of the stuff off. Okay. But I'll say on the flip side, theological, because the theological school I went to, the School of Divinity I went to, man, it's, I was having to fight tooth and nail just to hold on to my faith and to still believe in Jesus, because half of my professors actually didn't. So it does depend on where you go. And I will say that education alone doesn't qualify you to be a pastor. But I think, again, if you're serving in a Bible-believing church and wanting to be a pastor there, man, go to a solid biblical, seminary or theological school, get a master's in theological studies or a master's in divinity. And that way you can become a much more effective preacher or teacher, or at minimum, go back and finish your bachelor's degree in biblical studies, in theological studies. I just value education, and I know, I get it. I got my master's and I got my doctorate, and so obviously I do, but I just think it would help so much safeguard and protect us from just getting off into crazy la la land.
Okay.
So that's my 2 cents.
It seems like some of these places could manipulate and prey on people who feel called into ministry just because they want their money, and they don't really care whether they actually think they're called into ministry, and they just want these people's money. So what do you think about that?
I think those places exist.
Okay.
I do think the places exist that just, they're not overly concerned about individuals' calling or those kind of things. They just want students to be able to bring in the, few $1,000s, $10,000, whatever it is, a year or a degree, whatever. I do think that those places exist.
Okay.
So I think they exist. Well, I know they exist. Okay.
Okay.
But I don't think that just because that those places exist disqualifies every other place that looks similar but has very different motives.
Okay.
But I think that people can go into places, be told, yep, you're called to this and you're called to that, and that really not be the case? Yeah, I do think so. And a lot of seminaries and theological schools will actually have what they'll call like career and calling type centers. In other words, like a place like they're intentionally helping students discern the call of God for their lives.
Okay.
And it may be you go through the process, and maybe you're trying to get a master's degree or whatever, and you're working with them, and then at the end of the day, it may come out, you know what? I would just be much better serving in the marketplace. Okay. I could be a Sunday school teacher, a small group leader, but my place I'm going to thrive is actually being in the marketplace instead of serving in a local church. and then I can volunteer my time to that local church. And I think that when places are able to do that, that puts a major for me like seal of like I can have confidence in them that they're not in it for just the money. Okay. But I think if we're being honest, all schools to a degree are, I won't say all,
right.
Most schools to a degree need students for their school to continue running.
Right.
So there is a little bit of the money part of it. Like,
but I'm not really talking about like, hey, we have this many slots and we're going to fill that up and we run like a regular school. I'm talking about the people who it's like a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you come and pay and they say it's like, yeah, it's like a cult. They say you're going to get some crazy experience out of it and tell everyone their calling is whatever, no matter who they are. And yeah. Because those places exist.
Yeah, they do. Okay. They do exist of, hey, yeah, I mean, 100%, come here. At our place, you're going to discover God like you can never discover him anywhere else.
Right.
Come here to this place. You're going to learn revelation that you will not get anywhere else. Absolutely. Those places exist.
Okay.
And it breaks my heart that they do because they are preying on individuals that genuinely want to grow in Jesus, that do want to have revelation and know what God's plan is for them. Right. Like, so my heart breaks for those individuals, but there's absolutely those, and a lot of those are the kind of things we were talking about earlier. Like they're like the quote unquote schools of ministries that are attached to a church, like a local church.
Okay.
And they don't have any other, there's no like auditing or covering part of that. It's just, hey, bring them in, bring your money. And again, I'm not saying that it's just for the money's sake, because sometimes it can be like, we just want to be able to say, hey, we have 50 kids in our school of ministry or, whatever.
Okay. So anyone can just start a school of ministry?
Oh, sure. Any church can. Like our church, like right now, we could start one tomorrow if we wanted to.
All right.
And just be like,
I want to start it.
You're going to be the dean?
Yeah.
Awesome.
The dean.
And
the president.
And CEO. Right.
I want more titles than you.
We're gonna make you just dean of everything. Yeah. Dean of the school, dean of admissions, dean of just Nate.
Tonight's homework, Genesis.
All of it. All 50 chapters.
Yeah.
I need a paper summarizing.
We're gonna talk about it next week.
Right.
What is a firmament? Does anyone know? Just know these big words right at the beginning. Right. No one knows what this. Whatever.
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Getting into the fun stuff like how many wives did Jacob have? And
right.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. So So any church can just say we're starting a school of ministry. 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I actually looked into it for our church. I'll be honest with you. But
wow.
But with a accredited group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So
peer accredited?
Yeah, peer accredited.
Accredited through someone else who's accredited? Through someone else who might be accredited?
No,
but it's Jesus, so who cares?
No, they're legitimate. So,
all right.
Yeah. But yeah, we did look at doing that and just to explore the you don't have any room to do that. No, not now. So whatever. Joseph has dreams.